Channel 8 Eyewitness News at 5.
We know it's a very difficult situation for the families as well as for our school community, and so it is tough.
A dispute over honoring a student's life at a milestone event. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us.
Lincoln Public Schools is denying a memorial during an 8th grade recognition.
It would have been for a student who has died, but officials say it's against policy. Channel 8 Eyewitness News reporter Kelsey Murphy has more details for us in our top story. Kelsey?
Rod, Megan, that policy breaks down memorial practices that all schools must follow. According to the school's crisis team, memorials at recognitions or graduations could potentially add to the grief of losing a classmate. Families of the deceased say moments like these deserve to be celebrated, even if their child isn't physically present.
She was an amazing girl. She was fun-loving. She was a very sick girl, though.
Haley Schmidt should be preparing for her 8th grade recognition ceremony. What to wear, perfecting her walk across the stage. Her next step, high school.
She was excited. She was very nervous to go to North Star.
Haley won't be walking on Tuesday. She passed away last December after blood clots in her lungs spread to her brain. Now, days before her scheduled ceremony, Haley's family aches to be a part of their child's day.
And just have a moment of silence for her.
That's all we're asking for, is just a moment of silence. An empty chair.
Paulette and David Schmidt tell me they reached out to Sco Middle School with the request. David says he was directed to the superintendent where he was denied.
And basically he said it's out of his hands. It's the LPS, the board. That's their policy that they, if they have to do it for one, they have to do it for all.
I looked into the policy that states the restriction. It states no empty chair, no moment of silence or other dedication. Crisis team members tell me these graduation guidelines are consistent with Haley's 8th grade recognition ceremony. The school provides other supervised forms of memorials when a student passes. They don't allow services and ceremonies out of respect for the student body as a whole.
My overall concern, or our crisis team concern, would be is that that student may be experiencing some type of grief. Without having us directly there to offer that support, the day should be for students who are celebrating.
They fear memorials glorify death and worry about a student's own interpretation of the service.
We also want to make sure that we do nothing that seems to glamorize or glorify death. And that's a concern that we have for our students because, as Ursula said, we don't know how they're processing that empty chair, that moment of silence.
Haley's best friend tells me she sees nothing glamorous when it comes to the loss of her best friend.
We're supposed to recognize everyone who went to school there, and she went to school there, so she should be part of that.
Haley's family and friends plan on wearing these green ribbons on Tuesday in honor of her. An LPS did say that if a high school student completed all of his or her graduation requirements, that student's name will be called at graduation and a family member can receive the diploma in their name. That is, if the family requests it.
It's just such a tough situation for both sides. Kelsey Murphy, thank you for the story.